Okay, I am in a different location than normal, and I apologize for the lighting. It is not the greatest. I look very dark, but if I open the curtains, you can't see me at all. I'm nothing but a silhouette. It's terrible. So, I want to talk about an actor again. Kind of. This time, I want to talk about Zhu Kai. He's an actor that I found by accident via the type of drama that I'm interested in. The first one that I saw him in. And from there, I decided to look him up, and some of his others looked interesting, so I decided to watch more. And that's like, a typical journey for me. And he is I did label him as one of my favorite actors now. And the lighting changes every time my laptop screen goes black, which it does when I'm ignoring it because there's a script right here, but as usual, I have to ramble and rant first, and this is already the third attempt to try starting this, so I don't want to start over again. And my cat is here distracting me. It's typical. Anyway, insert pictures here, I guess, of the TV books that I've been keeping. This has started a trend. I'm going to fill up way too many books if I keep doing it episode by episode, running commentary, so I've been trying hard to hold myself back. And not all dramas that I watch require that much. It's only certain types. And Zhu Kai apparently likes to act in that type of drama. So, because of all of that, I have all the comments, so why not make videos about it? I took the time to write it, and I have a channel, so I might as well share it with you, or at least part of it. So, when it comes to Zhu Kai, the order that I watched his dramas in, the first one I saw was Lost in the Kunlun Mountains. Then I watched Dance of the Sky Empire. Then I watched The Legends. Then I watched Falling Into Your Smile. Then I watched Once Upon a Time in Lingjiang Mountain. Apparently that's season 1, and there's a season 2 that will hopefully be made, hopefully with the same cast. And the last one that I was watching was Court Lady. And Court Lady, I originally actually was considering possibly watching, even though just cringe all over the place. Court dramas. Oh, they're one of my number one most hateful kind of dramas. Court dramas, because I hate politics. But that was the last one I was watching, and I originally kind of wanted to watch it and then kind of forgot about it and whatnot because one of the main actors in that one is Tan Jiansu. I think that's how you say his name. And he is also, I really like that actor too. I talked a little bit briefly about Under the Skin in my wrap-up video, and I even more briefly mentioned Are You Safe because I did a music video of those two dramas. But I am rambling to the nth degree off script again. The point is, that's the order that I watched Zhu Kai's dramas in. But the order that I'm going to talk about them in is Falling Into Your Smile, then The Legends, then The Sky Empire, then The Lingjiang Mountain, then The Court Lady, and then Kunlun Mountain. And kind of the reason I ended up putting them in that order to talk about is because I'm starting off on a mostly positive note, and I'm ending on a positive note, and all in between is rants and rages. So, fasten your seatbelt, people. I hope you stick with me. So, starting off here with Falling Into Your Smile. This drama, it's about, they're playing, I completely forget what the name of the game they're playing is. Oops. They are professional gamers. It's esports. And it starts off with Tang Yao, who's just an amateur player. She's pretty good in her ranking, but she's still considered an amateur, and how she ends up being on the team of professional players on this one specific team that got second place in the last big competition thing. And there's a whole reason for why they got second place, not first place, and that is a running, it affects most of the story, the reasons for why they didn't win last time. But the thing is that her first boyfriend became a professional player, and that played a big part in why they broke up. So she has decided that her goal in life is to win trophies as a professional esports player, and along the way, she's not allowed to fall in love with another professional esports player. And you can see exactly what's going to happen within this drama because of that. So, yeah, that's what this drama is about. I have 8 comments to make. Number 1, Rarity of rarities. I really liked Tang Yao. The only thing she did in the whole drama that was wrong, and was mad at her for, was meddling in how Chung captained the team when Kay and Kat randomly fought. Even as a girlfriend, Tang Yao had no business getting involved in that. Like, seriously, back off. That is not your area of expertise. You're insulting him. You're just, no, back off. You have no business getting involved in that. Back off. Point 2, another rarity. It was actually Chung that I was annoyed at several times throughout the drama. Usually it's the girl. This time it was the guy. Considering how many times he did something that was portrayed as cute /with Tang Yao, when in actuality he was crossing boundaries he actually had no permission to cross, and yet he got away with it. He even tells Tang Yao, "You're too suggestible." And then he takes advantage of that in ways he should not have. I.e., when he was doing it to make a point, there's wiggle room, because he was using it to make a point a few times to help her learn the lesson. But there's other times when it was just a romance drama being a romance drama, and I'm like, script writers, knock it off. That's things overlooked because it's a romance drama. So, they end up as a happy couple. So, forgive that. No, actually, that's actually not okay what he's doing. Point 3, the fight between Kay and Kat came out of left field and was literally only in the drama so Chung and Tang Yao could discuss parenting tactics. During which time Tang Yao insults Chung like crazy, considering she calls her way of parenting with love, which makes his way what? Like, how dare you, Tang Yao? How dare you? Left field and stupid and really irritating as a result. Point number 4, Pang getting so sick he gets hospitalized was even more random and so skimmed over so fast. It was utterly absurd. But the birthday surprise was absolutely adorable. Point 5, a ton of stuff in the last 10 episodes was actually so random. It wasn't exactly out of the blue, but it was enough so that it was just all so weird and uncomfortable. Even when Chung having a literal meltdown into insanity during that one game, I was like, what was that? Like, yes, they brought up the fact that his hand was injured before, and yes, there's the whole, his whole attitude and his reasoning, and say, it's not exactly that it came out of left field, because it was connected to, numerous times and things that they had brought up and mentioned before. A whole bunch of this stuff was connected in some way. They had referenced it before or whatever, but, in the end, the way it was brought into the story and the way it was handled and then the way it was just whooshed back out was like, what? And the violin and insane depression over drinks and when they had their meltdowns was just so dramatic. It was not the first time that it was that dramatic. In other words, too dramatic. Even though I understood why every time, but especially here, it just felt so insanely forced. I'm not sure how else to put it. It did not feel natural at all. It felt entirely forced. It was weird and so uncomfortable. Point 6, the fans versus responsibility of celebrities, etc. had my skin crawling so bad I could barely watch a full episode at a time for a while without constantly stopping to breathe. The level of insanity involved in real people in real life acting like this, it just, I can't breathe for so many reasons. What fans get away with because of the level idols are held to is literally insane. And I know I use those words a lot, but it is literally insane. Point number 7 is Jang Young is pathetic. No other words. Oh, but this was one of the random points. His hanging on for so long just to drop it / be totally fine all of a sudden after their last game. I mean, what the actual what? Plot devices? Lazy, irritating script writing? Use it until we don't need the story to drag out anymore and then just drop it like that. Come on, people, stop it. And last point. The 2 parts that had me laughing so hard in this drama were, 1, when Tang Yao jumped on Chung, the way she jumped on him, face to face instead of on his back. because she thought she saw a ghost slash the whole of everything she did while drunk. That was probably one of the funniest drunk scenes I have ever seen in a drama. Both her, what she was doing, and everyone's reactions to her, and even who was reacting to her. And then the other part was the whole part where her cat ate Chung's fish. Especially how fast she was talking and the excuse she was making while throwing her toy out the window. There were so many times where Chung looked at someone and they used the sword being pulled out of his sheath sound. Anyway, yeah, those scenes just further prove why I actually really liked Tang Yao. She was actually pretty cute and pretty strong. Like, this drama was one of those ones where I think they were trying to make the point of, you know, like, she's the only girl in the gaming world, and because that's like so extremely rare, and she had to fight so hard to be seen as a proper gamer just because she's a girl. And this is one of the rare dramas that personally, like, in this day and age, especially when people make these kinds of dramas and they're like, girls can be just as good as guys and they should be accepted and not looked down on just because they're a girl, which is a good thing because it's true. But at the same time, they consistently do it by stomping all over the men, making the men look like idiots, making the men look like jerks, making the men look pathetic and weak and all kinds of stuff like that. And that's what they call a strong female lead. And I hate that kind of story, and I hate that kind of female character. Just no. But in this drama, that's completely different from the normal. Tang Yao was actually really well done. I think they did a really good job in this drama of showing you how, like, she is a good professional gamer, and like she got there on her own strength, and she did not trample all over the men to do it. Like, it was actually really well done, and that's why I really like Tang Yao, because, like, to me, she never did cross over into that, and that's how I'll distinguish the two, strong female lead versus a real strong female lead. Tang Yao is a real strong female lead. So, and that's all I can say about Falling Into Your Smile, because I did not actually keep notes on that one while I was doing it. I jotted down a few of those random notes getting closer to the end when I was like, okay, this is piling up and I'm going to forget all of this before I have a chance to write it down, so I quickly wrote it down. And so that's all I can say about that one. It's a good one that I think is worth watching. Will I ever be able to watch it again? I don't know, because my gosh, the fans. And the whole insanely over-the-top stupid pressure they put on idols, like, come on. But the other thing about that one, one cool thing about that one that I forgot to write down here was the way they showed the game. There was a few times where they actually went into the gaming world and they actually showed the footage of the characters doing things, and it was like I was suddenly watching a CG cartoon show or something. My only problem with those parts is that I kind of kept forgetting who was who, because even though they showed you the characters and the real people, like I say, this is an actual game that you can actually play, but I have never played it. I know nothing about it, like literally nothing. At one point I actually went and looked up some of the rules online so I could keep up a little bit better. Crossfire to me was way easier to follow because the game is so much simpler, and because I never played Crossfire, but I played other games very similar to it, so I understand the rules of that, no problem. This one, it was hard to follow. It was really hard to follow. So if you don't know anything about the game and you want to watch this drama, I would suggest going and looking up some of the rules and terms so that you have some idea what they're talking about, because it does get hard to follow if you don't know. But yeah, the part where they showed in-game, there were several times when they showed that, and pretty much all of the times when they showed in-game were actually pretty cool. Before I move on from Falling Into Your Smile, unscripted, Zhu Kai's character, Chang, he was really cool. I forget, what did I say? This was the fourth of his characters that I'd seen. So I was already being influenced by Zhu Kai's face and previous whatnot. Plus, was it this one that I was watching when I realized something? It's something that I had heard of before that they do with their dramas, that I knew at one point that they used to do, but there's the problem. I thought they used to do it. If I realized that they still do it at all, I didn't think they did it very often. I thought it was very specific types of dramas that they did it with. And was therefore not very common, and I had no idea that I had experienced it as many times as I have experienced it. I think it was possibly during this drama. I think that's when I actually went and looked it up and realized how much I had experienced it. If you don't want to know what I'm talking about, let me know, because it's a bombshell that if you know about it, you already know about it, and it's no big deal. But if you don't know about it, it actually feels like a big backstab betrayal, and it takes a lot of mental gymnastics to deal with it. So to drop it in the middle of this video is a little bit unfair. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, like I was thinking of doing something, but I haven't done anything yet. But anyway, also realized that in the middle of watching this drama, and it was affecting my opinion of him a lot. So, but on Jukai's part, I liked this character, and like especially by the end of it, and there were several things that I really, really liked about him, like the way he stood up for Tang Yao, like especially when it came to that whole disgusting person that literally sent her a package and did that whole video online and all that stuff. The way that everybody else was handling it, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you all. But the way that he stood up for her, no, we will not compromise. I'm like, thank you, Chung. Thank you. Oh. But I also was like I mentioned with his, the scenes that ended up being romantic, even though he was actually crossing lines that he didn't have permission to cross. And just because she was too stunned to say anything, and therefore he got away with it, actually doesn't make it okay. So that was actually bothering me. And then there was at least once where I was actually mad at him, because I get why, because like, you know, as professionals, there's this certain image we have to have, and if that ever got out, and look what it does to him when stuff like that gets out. But when she was getting harassed, and it was literally being harassed by that gamer from the other team, and she fought for herself and got away from him by biting him, Chung was mad at her for that. And his solution was that she shouldn't have done it herself. She should have gone and like called for him or whatever and had him help her. I get why, but at the same time, that is taking it too far. No, she was actually right to stand up for herself. She needs to be able to do that, because like that's nice sentiment for him to say, like, rely on me. But dude, what if you aren't there? What if you aren't available? Like, I think the problem with that scene was that that's a misunderstanding from a guy's part, that you don't understand what it's like being a woman sometimes, because women are weaker than men physically, typically. Not always. There's tons of men that are weaker and tons of women that are stronger. It depends on your body type and the kind of lifestyle you've had, whether you've actually built up your body or not. But like, as typically, one of the main biological differences between females and males is that men are typically physically stronger or capable of being stronger than women. There's something to do with the muscle mass and the way that it all functions and does stuff and whatnot in the two sexes. It's hard for a woman to fight them off, especially if you're small and not as strong like Tang Yao is. And so for him to get mad at her for having the capability of being able to fight back and defend herself, it bothered me that he went that far. It did bother me in that instance. I was like, no. To get mad at her for yelling and pushing the girl in that other instance, I agree with you getting mad at her there, because she did flip out and lose her temper and whatnot and should not have done that, and it caused a massive mess. If this guy had been able to prove that it was her that bit him and had twisted the story, that could have turned out to be a massive mess too. But it was different. She was literally defending herself because he was literally harassing her. He had her backed up against the wall. He was pushing her physically. He was caging her in. And I think she did the right thing in that case. I believe that she was the one in the right there, and I am upset with Chung for getting upset with her. No. So, but I did really like Chung, but there was also places where I was like, with him. So, that's what I thought of Jukai's character in that one. randomly out of the blue the very next day. After editing it, I thought I was complete. I just remembered I kept forgetting to point out something that to me is hilarious. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but at the same time, I can't help mentioning it. Maybe I found literally the only ones it's true in, but somehow, of all the things that Jukai has played in, somehow, if these are the only ones, they're the ones I happen to find. I've seen 6 of his dramas, and I'll show you pictures as proof. 5 of them, there is a wedding scene. One of them, it's just a dream version. She's just having a dream, a fantasy thing of the future that she is, so it's not, but 5 of them, there's some type of wedding in it. And I find that absolutely hilarious. 5 out of 6. I don't think I have ever seen such a number so high with any other actor before. Like, even Jaloon, most of his dramas, there's no wedding scene. But 5 out of 6 of Jukai's, there is. And then, because, I was going to mention that, and then I was like, maybe I'll do something else, which I forgot to do. But now I've filmed this. But the one other thing that I did want to mention that I didn't mention that I forgot to mention about falling into your smile specifically, I specifically have a soft spot for dramas that have siblings in them, especially and specifically when the siblings get along and there's interactions and it's like regular old siblings. Like, I personally love it because to me, like, I know not everybody has this experience, but for me, my family, I had many siblings, and of course, like, I fought with them and was jealous of them and whatever, specific ones especially and all that stuff while growing up, because there was a lot of kids in small houses and all that stuff, so you didn't get much space of your own, and etc., etc. There was like, but I am actually extremely close to my family. They're very, very important to me, and probably also because I lost one of my siblings, it affects me even more, and it's just, I am like, as soon as I find out that there's siblings in the drama, I'm like, and in this one, there's the 2 brothers, Chung and his brother, Lu, something. Shoot, I forgot his name. But anyway, he comes into the drama, and I'm actually, like, super happy that he stayed in the drama. And specifically, like, within this one, I find it so cute and so cool how loyal Chung's little brother is to him. It's actually, like, to all of them, as you find out what happened in the past with him and all that stuff, what actually happened, the truth of what it is. And I'm like, I figured it was probably something more like that. The more I got to know him, I'm like, figured. But like, especially with Chung, there was a few places in the drama, I'm like, as twerpy as he is, and as many times as Chung throws a pillow at him, and he deserved it, at the same time, I find them adorable, as it's like really cool and all that. So like, I'm happy that was in the drama. That's something that made me, I really loved that about this drama, was the brothers and their odd relationship, where, it's a typical kind of fighting and a typical kind of, would you knock it off, dude? You're such a little pest and all that stuff, but at the same time, you can tell the love between them and like the loyalty and all that stuff. I love it, personally. I love it. So I had to literally film this quick thing to tack that on there, because I'm like, every time I think about it, oh yeah, I didn't mention that, because I somehow forgot about it, but I really want to mention it because that's how much I love it. So, tacking this on the end of that. And so, because I'm doing that, I can officially actually say a proper goodbye. Because, yeah, after editing it, I'm like, just falling into your smile and the quick introduction stuff is 20 minutes. So, you know what? I'm just going to make 6 different videos and make this like a little mini-series of Jukai, more like what I did with Rin Jaloon, rather than what I did with Mao. So, there you go. That's what's happening. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your opinions are in the comments below. I am perfectly fine with people disagreeing with me. Just be polite about it. That's all I ask. If you disagree with me, let me know. Especially if you feel the need to actually dislike one of my videos. Please explain. Kindly. Please explain so that, I can improve if I need to improve. So, bye. Thanks for watching.